Okay, so, you know, I made some videos about the family and, you know, what it is that I know about growing up and why I don't, you know, like those parties or those get-togethers, you know, because of, you know, what they do, you know. They be trying to do sick stuff with their own family members and stuff like that. And this information because, you know, the birth certificates and the ages that the people were when the children were born and the ages that, you know, the children are and the people that they had sex with and had their children with and the agreements that they made with each other. And I did not, you know, and somebody was like, but you can get a lot of money, you know. I saw the garbage bags full of money and, you know, I saw those people or their alter egos or their doppelgangers and stuff like in the videos and the commercials on TV and the, you know, those Lamar signs and, you know, the billboard signs and all of this stuff like the bills and all this stuff like that. I wasn't impressed, you know. It doesn't impress me. I saw their cars and stuff like that and stuff like that. I'm not really impressed with any of that stuff, you know. I didn't want to sell out, you know. So, you know, I don't have a lot of clothes. I don't have a lot of money, you know. I don't have a lot, you know, at all, you know. Usually, you know, I mostly just wear the same clothes every day, you know. And, you know, this is one of the undershirts, you know, or the t-shirts that I would wear, you know, under my shirt, you know, sometimes, you know, it's been kind of hot, you know, lately. So, you know, I had to take off my shirt, you know. And when I look at the tag, you know, it's one of the greatest shirts that I ever, you know, had, you know. I look at the tag, you know. Of course, you know, it says, you know, it's made in Vietnam, you know. It's authentic, you know. It's not counterfeit, you know. Those fake brands and stuff like that. It said it was made in Vietnam, you know. So I was like, oh, so, you know, it was like a partnership between America and Vietnam and stuff like that. And so it's not about a war or a battle and stuff like that. It was about working together, you know, and making, you know, long-lasting products, you know. You know, I've had this shirt, you know, it's been like some years now. You know, it still has coloring and, you know, it's got the stitching and the fabric on there and stuff like that. Made in Vietnam, you know. Advertised and sold in America, you know, to me as a product, you know. And it's not a ladies' shirt. It's not a women's shirt, you know. It's not a girl's shirt, you know. Because when you look at the tag, it does not say ladies. It does not say women. It does not say girls, you know. So, you know, some people, you know, are like when it's real, you know, something real, you know, stuff that's real, you know, not the counterfeit stuff, not the bootleg stuff, you know, stuff like that, you know. So, you know, different people, you know, have different ways of, you know, behaving, you know. So, you know, when I would see those different people, you know, and their different faces, you know, the people of the family, of course, and their alter egos, you know, when they would, you know, they would want to say that they're this person or that person or that person or this person, you know. It's crazy, you know. Talking about you don't have to be with just one person. You know, it was people that would say stuff like that. But you don't gotta be with just one person. You know, they would have a different religion talking about, but your children come first and stuff like that. And I'm like, no. Because if a child is only born after you have sex, the person that you have sex with has to come first. Because when the person that you have in sex with have to come, you know, the the sick stuff, when they have to come inside of you and get you pregnant in order for the child to, even be born in the first place. So I'd be like, how in the hell could the child come first? The person that you had sex with would have to come first and get you pregnant so that the child could even be born. It's crazy. And so, and since you're supposed to be married because the child is not supposed to be born, outside of a marriage, I mean, it happens, because different people do stuff different ways, but I'm not part of those religions where, they have children born outside of a marriage, before marriage and stuff like that. But I don't really judge anyone. I don't judge anyone because I wouldn't want to be like them. Like a lot of them people got mad because they picked sides, They chose to be, in a group or a gang, or they picked a color or a team, whether it was a football team, a basketball team, a baseball team, for some reason obsessed with playing with balls, obsessed with balls and playing. Or they picked a team, and then they end up having rivals because, when I believe all religions are telling the truth about something, and when I never murdered anyone and I never killed anyone because, when different people have different reasons for believing whatever it is they believe, and according to the Bible, when I read in the Bible, it said, be in the world, but not of the world, It was just my job to be in my marriage, to be part of my family, to be part of my marriage, And what I mean by that, me being part of my marriage, me being part of my family, me. Those situations, So, like, I was never really interested in, whether it was the red team or the blue team or the football team or the baseball team or basketball team or the volleyball team, playing with balls and all they playing, It's a lot of people that say it's time out for all they playing, whatever they did, stuff like that, when I was speaking about the family, it was like, they said it was a dude, he called himself an apostle. He said he called his name Romus or apostle or, ROMASSAMPSON, Samson, or was it Simpson, something like that. They said that, he called himself an apostle. And when he went to those neighborhoods or places, that, I grew up in the city, the county areas of the 205 zip code in Jefferson County, Alabama. It was like when he saw those Linda and Glenda people and stuff like that, their family, they was like, he had, a baby with Glenda, that's what they said, some Shanae Williams. And then he had a baby with Linda, some Charlisa girl and stuff like that. And then he had other children with other people, He called himself an apostle and stuff like that. And, it's crazy because, I did not, And when I was around those people, I didn't do any of that stuff, with any of them, And it's crazy because, they said it was these people that they called Dez and Cello and Spencer and stuff like that. And then, they was begging the girls to have sex with them, The people that came around, to say that they was, Jeremy friends and stuff like that. But I guess, if they see that they were friends with Jeremy Williams, the dude that, had the wrong kind of sexual relationships with those people. You know, he was a child molester, child abuser, and a murderer, convicted murderer, according to, you know, the conviction. He got life sentence in Alabama for murder or something like that in the year of 2003. You know, he was with some dude named Marvin, is what he said in the report. And, you know, both of them was over the age of 21, and they said it was a 16-year-old girl. They said she was the same age, you know, as my wife, you know, was supposed to be the same age at that time. You know, it was reports that, you know, the girl had, you know, it's just crazy, you know. And so when they said that, you know, some dude named Cello or Spencer or something like that was his friend, you know, some crazy mess. It was some dude that called himself Zach or Zachary Spence. I'm like the Spence or the Spencers of their family or something like that. You know, they was always talking about their nephews and acting like everybody wanted to have sex with them or something. It never really made sense because, you know, it was these girls, you know, they said they named Keisha and Rita and stuff. And, you know, they was like, you know, it was the dude that's called himself Cello Spencer or something like that. He wanted everybody to see him in the picture with two girls, you know, Keisha and Rita. I think they was at the strip club at the place in Birmingham, some sex club, you know. And and since neither one of them was married, you know, I never heard of Cello Spencer being married. I never heard of Sharita being married. I never heard of Keisha being married. You know, those people that were there, you know. You know, I guess he wanted to feel like a player, or like he wanted everybody to feel like, you know, like they was his girlfriend. You know, that big age gap between him and them. I mean, it would be different if he was actually married to them, since, you know, being 18 years old means you're legally of age to be married, you know. The same way that I stayed, you know, married, you know, and according to the birth certificate of August 31st, 2004, you know, I said I only wanted one child, you know, being born, and someone else said that they wanted that one child to have a brother and a sister. But since August 31st, 2004, according to the birth certificate, they said that the child is 18. It was like those other guys would have some explaining to do, you know, because when I went to those houses and I went around those places, you know, I never asked any of those girls or forced or attempted to have a sexual relationship or any kind of sexual contact with any of those people, whether they were girls or boys, women, men, children, any of that, you know. So it was like, well, how did those other people get pregnant? How did those other people have children? You know, what were they actually bragging on? You know, whether it was on social media, online, or in those pictures, any of that stuff, you know. I was like, they was like, you know, everybody, they would have to explain what they were bragging on, or what kind of, what it was that they were promoting, you know. You know, since as a dad, according to the family court of Jefferson County, it was a link in the description. They said that I was the father of a family, you know, is what was said in the phone call, you know. You know, since I read the Bible and it said, you know, God is our father. Since I am not God, you know, the children would usually call me dad, you know, and stuff like that, because I didn't want to teach them wrong. So I would try to train, you know, them the way, you know, of the Bible and the books that I studied, you know, since I believe all religions are telling the truth about something, but only the parts, you know, that I believe, you know, because when they said Cain killed Abel, and the Bible said thou shalt not kill, just because they said that Cain killed Abel in the Bible story, it doesn't mean that you're supposed to do it. It was a story about somebody doing something they were not supposed to do. And it was crazy because, when they said that Abraham, you know, had a wife and she couldn't get pregnant, and she told Abraham to have sex with a handmaid and get her pregnant so that she can have a baby. It was a story about something you're not supposed to do. Because they said when the baby was born, there was never any evidence that the handmaiden ever even wanted to have sex with Abraham. There was never any evidence that the handmaiden ever even wanted to get pregnant or have a child. And then, Abraham's wife got mad and kicked the handmaiden out and sent the baby away. And so the girl was a single mother with a child that I'm not even sure if she ever even wanted to get pregnant, if she ever even wanted to have a child. It's kind of like one of those hyena stories about those practices where if a girl did not have a hymen, Ishmael's mom, I think it was Ishmael's mom, I think she named the child Ishmael. If Ishmael's mom did not have a hymen and her virginity was taken, the same way those hyena stories say, because a female, a woman, someone's wife, forced her to have sex with some old man named Abraham just so that someone else can have a baby. And they used her. And they disrespected Ishmael's mom. That's what they did. And they sent her away as a single mom, And then she did not have a hymen. And she had a child, And since it was not her idea to have sex and it was not her idea to do that, I try to explain stuff like that to the children since I'm not a teacher, and it's wrong the way those people, they said they was a couple. They said it was a wife and a husband. They called somebody else their handmaid, forced her to have a child, took her virginity, used her, and then sent her away, without a hymen, without a virginity, out there like that. It was not her fault. There was never a story in the Bible where she ever said she wanted to do that. There was never a story in the Bible where she ever said she liked it, It's crazy. So, no, it's the way that I was taught, So, when I was growing up, and I would be trying to explain stuff, from the way I understood of what was, explained for me, to me, and stuff like that. It would be those people in those families, all of those families, whether they call themselves the Johnson family or the Williams family or the Jacksons or the Sanders, those were the names they would use, or the Spencers or Spence or whatever. They was talking about, doing stuff with girls and boys, males and females, sex stuff, and going both ways. That's what they was talking about, And it was like, you can get some money and people will pay you and you can be rich and famous if you have sex with girls and boys. And I'm like, no. I don't want to do what they did, the way that they did, the stuff that they did, the way that they did, I don't want to treat those people the way they treated them. I don't want to abuse those people the way they did, whatever they did. When I would see those girls, before April 30th, 2004 and after April 30th, 2004, it was heartbreaking and it broke my heart, because of what they did, I didn't really care about Charlisa Williams, you know, because she was mean, you know. I didn't really care about, you know, Stacey J. Williams and stuff because she was mean, you know. I didn't really care about, you know, Angel Renee Williams, you know, because she was mean, you know. I don't hate them, you know. They're not my friend and they're not my enemy, you know. But, you know, when I would see the others, you know, I would feel bad, you know. And uh I didn't really like what they did, you know. You know, when it was the girls in the family, you know, they, you know, had, you know, made a very confusing situation. I just to put it this way. When the girl said that she was my girlfriend, she was like said she was my wife, you know, and they was using the name April Williams, you know. I don't really understand what they did or how, like, much confusion went on. They would wear each other clothes and stuff like that. She would be like, she got this bra from her sister. She got those panties from her other sister. She got those it would be different clothing items or something. I don't know if it would have their energy or their smell or their vibe or something on it or whatever. But it's like she wanted me to like them, you know. Like, it's like she knows something about them that I didn't know. It's like, she like know that some of them had been abused and some of them had been molested and some of them had been treated bad and some of them would be ashamed and, you know, they couldn't tell me. Well, they could, but they would be ashamed to talk to me about it because, you know, they wouldn't want me to think that they was nasty or bad people. And I don't think that those girls are nasty and bad people, you know, those girls. But those girls that was mean to me, you know, like those Charlisa Williams girls, those Stacey Williams girls, and those Glinda family people, they were mean, you know. And according to the Bible, it's like you're not supposed to join house to house. So it was like, you know, it was like the family would have to explain that stuff because, you know, since I didn't marry into their religion and since I didn't marry into their tribe, you know, it was like, you know, when you have a family and they said I'm the father of a family, it was like, you know, that means I'm supposed to have my own tribe. I'm supposed to have my own family, you know. And what I mean by I'm supposed to have my own tribe, I'm supposed to have my own family, that means that my family is a different family. My tribe is a different tribe. You know, it's not an extension or an addition to what they had going on. It's something completely different from what they did, you know. I didn't want to be the next Roman Simpson, the next person to have 6 and children with 2 sisters and a wife and all of that stuff like that, you know. So, you know, congratulations to Cello Spencer or Zachary Spence or, you know, I guess they wanted you to say their name. Jeremy's friend, Dez, is it Desi Parker and stuff like that? Because, you know, yeah, they did say that. They said some of those girls in the family said that they wanted to go swimming with Dez and that they had a crush on Dez and that they was like they liked the Dez and, you know, out of all the people that they could have chose, you know, and it was wild, you know, I was in the neighborhood when I was in the 205 area code. Out of all the people that they could have chose, you know, to spend time with or, you know, to communicate with, whether it was writing letters or whether it was, you know, coming for a visit or calling on the phone. Some of the people said they chose to go to Dez's house or they chose to go to the swimming pool with Dez or they chose to be like, ooh, mom, look at that car. Look at Dez's car. They wanted to go with Dez, you know. They didn't choose me. And, you know, I can accept, you know, being, you know, not chosen and not, you know, as special as theirs is to them, you know. But I'm not partners with any of those people because I was never interested in a partnership, you know. So, you know, it was like, you know, some of those people, you know, they said that, you know, they wanted to go to the studio with Cello and Spencer and, you know, and the dude Zach said that somebody was doing named Zachary Spencer. He said somebody wanted his nephew and stuff like that, you know. So, you know, if that's what they wanted, you know, I don't want to be part of those situations. Because if you wanted Zach's nephew, you know, I don't. And if you wanted Dez or Courtney or Cello, I don't. And if you wanted Robert or Terrence, I don't. Those are some of the names that the people that, you know, Avenue T, 2928 Avenue T, this what they the people they said they chose, you know, whoever they were. And if you wanted TJ, I don't, you know, stuff like that, you know. And so, you know, they would be talking about playing doctor and stuff like that, talking about LaShawn Jackson or Rashawn Smith or whatever. If you wanted to go to Sean's house, I don't, you know. If you wanted to go to their family reunion, I don't. I don't want to be part of Ree's union, you know. Because they said that girl that they called Ree was one of them people that was associated with Jeremy family and those child molesters and those people that wanted to have sex with males and females, boys and girls, and said that if everybody was that way, it would just be the way. Well, I guess I'm not part of the way because I'm not the type of person that would have sex with males and females, boys and girls, and I don't go both ways, you know. So, you know, they say that some of those people were ashamed and felt bad because they bragged on people that chose sides and picked sides. They bragged on people that had sex with underage children, you know. They bragged on their sex, you know. They called them sexy and stuff like that. And they bragged on those guys, you know, those guys that like playing with balls and being around other guys all the time. What they said, they was in a frat, a group of nothing but men, and they loved being in a frat, hanging around nothing but other men. Or whether they said they was on a sports team, hitting the showers, going from state to state on a bus with nothing but other men, smelling the smell of other men, being around other men, naked in the shower, talking about community showers with other men. You know, they even said some of them girls said they had sex with the whole football team, you know. You know, it's their body and their choice, but I did not, you know. I never been on any of those sports teams. I don't even watch sports, look at any of that stuff like that, you know. I've never been a fan of the, you know, those types of situations, you know. So, you know, whenever it would be people that had that kind of energy, I would either leave and go the other way or run away from them, you know. When I would see those cars pull up and they said it was TJ in the car and stuff, I would run and try to go away the other way. I didn't want to feel that kind of energy. And it's crazy because the same type of people that some people run to are the same type of people that people like me run from. Some people run to that kind of energy like they want to feel it. And some people run away from that type of energy because I don't want to feel it. You know, stuff like that. So, you know, I don't know who I'm speaking to or who, you know, this message, you know, may, you know, communicate or, you know, how people would feel about it. So I apologize if you don't like it and stuff like that. But, you know, being married, according to a marriage license, it says, you know, April 30th of 2004 is the date of the marriage, you know. I was told I did my job of, you know, not having sex with underage children, not making girls into single moms or single mothers, you know, not joining any of those groups, you know. I was never somewhere with men, hanging around just other men or something like that, that I chose to do any of that stuff, you know. It wasn't my fault when people, you know, abused me and tried to lock me up or make me go to jail and stuff like that when I didn't even have any victims. But, you know, I was always told if everybody was straight, then everybody would be straight. It's not my fault that some people chose not to be straight. I was told if everybody was straight, then everybody would be straight, you know. So I'm not a threat to myself or others. I'm not suicidal and stuff like that. And I was told that if everybody was straight, then everybody would be straight. So since I am straight, you know, I don't know what kind of games they played or what they did, you know. I don't know who or what, you know, their family did, you know. But my wife, if she has a sister or someone that's saying that they're her sister and stuff like that, I don't know what they have going on or what they're doing, you know. Maybe she does have a sister. Maybe they are working together. I really don't know what's going on. I was just told to be here when she get back, you know. So I don't have anything bad to say about my wife, you know. I don't know who those fake people are that, you know, have been commenting or sending emails or, you know, stalking me on the internet. But it needs to stop, you know. So, you know, I love you all. Believe me, I do.